So I'm back, and we're not going to be able to use the cooler with this motherboard because this bracket on here is so tight. It's not going anywhere. You're not going to be able to get it off. But I'm not going to be defeated. So went and seen my buddies at Best Buy, picked up a new motherboard. So what are we going to do? We're going to replace the motherboard because we're going to fix the major problem. The major problem with this machine is, of course, this motherboard. And so we're just going to go ahead and start taking stuff out. It's the best way to do it. And if this motherboard doesn't fit, then I guess we'll just get a new case. And we'll go from there. Because we're not going to be stopped. We're not going to be outdone. Motherboard I went and picked up is a Z490 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi from MSI. It's a pretty good board. It's got Wi-Fi. It's got two M.2 slots. Pretty good heat sinks VRM. So we'll get some pretty good cooling. Best part about it, we'll be able to use our cooler, and we'll be able to use XMP, and we'll be able to overclock in the BIOS and get some more performance. And it looks like we should have plenty of room on the panel extenders. So hopefully those work. Or the front panel cables. So we're just gonna go ahead. We're just taking stuff out at this point. Graphics card, all of it's got to go, and we'll go from there. So I took the RAM out already, took the graphics card. Now I'm going to take the M.2 drive out. I'm going to use my handy dandy iFixit toolkit. It's the best way to go about these things. It's got all the pieces you need. It'll be linked in the description because trust me, if you're going to work on PCs, you need one of these. So we're going to see this. It's actually a Samsung M.2 drive, which is pretty cool. But it's Samsung. It's good, high quality stuff. It's even got a heatsink on it. Nice. Okay. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Y'all watch out, you lose your screw like I just did. Who cares? We don't need it. So let's go ahead, unplug everything. Hopefully nothing is super glued into place, which I have seen before. They really don't want you working on these things, upgrading them. They want you to have a fun time. You know what I mean? They don't want fun. They want you to buy it. Who cares about fun? Is that super glued? Nah. Just unplug it all. A lot of you are going to be like, hey, does this work? Does my RGB work? You know, does this work? Does that work? Listen, guys, I can't tell you that. I don't know. I don't really care for RGB. Ooh, nice. Look at this. It's got extenders on it. Or not extenders, but they plugged in a, look at that, a splitter. That's pretty cool. So now we get a free splitter. Where we're going, we don't need no splitters. Just disassemble everything. Unplug it all. We'll probably have to reroute some cables. Is your RGB going to work? Don't know. I don't really care for RGB. So performance is my thing. That's what I want. I want performance. Dumbest bunch of connectors over in the world over here. Have no idea what these go to. Hopefully we'll find out. Using an 8+4 pin for the power. I mean, it's like they almost want you to have a good time with it. You know, they're tricking you. They want you to think that, okay. Come on now, cables. There's that one. There's that one. All right, Wi-Fi is on here as well. It's got this little connector here. We don't care about that though. We'll go ahead and take the Wi-Fi, this little thing off. This board comes with Wi-Fi, so we don't need this. The only thing you need from the old motherboard is your RAM, unless you bought new RAM, and your graphics card, your processor. Hey. We'll just boom, put that to the side here. Free Wi-Fi card. That's what everybody needs. Okay. Now we just got to undo our SATA cables here. I mean, these things are in here like, you don't have to worry about anything shifting around while you're shipping this thing, that's for sure. Now go ahead, start taking motherboard screws out. Don't lose them. Do not lose your motherboard screws. All right, now that we got all the screws out, we can lift this up and remove it, but you gotta get this last screw. The one that I missed. Right here. There we go. And it just lifts out of place here. All right, there it is. The only thing we need right now is this CPU. We use this box here. So to take the CPU out, you just lift up this retaining bracket like this. Pick it up by the sides. You can set it down somewhere. Put it down. Now, if you get a new motherboard, like I did, you'll need to use the cover, the socket cover. And this is the new motherboard. The motherboard of champions. This comes in this nice anti-static bag. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Now this is a motherboard. It'll work for all of our needs. Yeah. So much RGB, fan headers, all the good stuff. Let's just hope it works. Let's hope it fits. So, next thing we gotta do is hopefully this back plate just pops out, which it does. We don't need it where we're going. Okay. Now, some of this stuff you can do outside the case. That's up to you. Like putting in the CPU and stuff. Whoops. Okay. Hopefully this will fit. Now listen, when you do this, don't drag it, okay? Just don't drag it. Pick it up. You know, pick it up. Don't drag it. You don't want to hurt the traces. and just set it in there like that. And there you go. It's in. So now we can start screwing it in. So this does fit. That's good. Now we just have to make sure all these connections work. Because there's stuff that may not. And we won't find out until we try. So go ahead, take the screws that you put in, or that you took out, and put these bad boys in. I guess when Lenovo was just talking about how, you know, they had an upgradable machine, they were really just talking about the case. The fact that you could, you know, upgrade the case. Has to be it. Because they sure as crap wasn't talking about the motherboard. No, sir. So go ahead, put in all your screws. Don't over tighten them. Just tighten them until they quit. Don't try and wrench down on it. You know, there's no need in that. Just give it a nice, just till it's snug. This case is pretty snug. So we might have a little bit of trouble. We might not. Hopefully we don't. Plugging everything in. But I'm going to go ahead and put in the CPU. So I'm going to zoom in for you. And all you're going to do is you're going to lift this up like that. Okay, lift this up like so. And you're going to line this up. Now, what you do is on the CPU, you see this go triangle right here. It'll line up with this white dot over here. And there's also 2 notches on here. And these notches help guide it in. Now don't shove it, just drop it in there like so. Take it like this, tighten it up, and then your socket protector pops off. And use this socket protector on your Lenovo motherboard. I mean, because heaven knows you might need a piece of junk motherboard one day. So now we're just going to start connecting stuff. Now some of this stuff's going to be pretty easy to connect, like this fan. And some of it, we might have to get creative. And you're like, oh no, not creative. Yes, sirs. Creative. This one's a little bit, there we go, tricky to put in. Now over here you've got your cables. So you've got your 8-pin right here. And I mean, there's not much wiggle room in these, to be honest. So this is really going to be probably the hardest part, is getting this 8-pin in. Okay, we got one side of it in. And I mean, it'd be a lot easier if this case was just a little bit bigger, but it's not. It's a small case. Second 8-pin in, and then there's another 4-pin right here. Let me zoom out for you. Up here in this corner, you got an 8-pin and a 4-pin. Okay, so that's in. Now we got to connect our 24-pin. Okay. This is RGB to something. Then we got our 2 SATA cables. So just try to finagle those in. It's in different spots. I mean, it's not everything's going to line up perfectly, like the 24 and the 8-pin. There we go. We got that in. Okay. Let's see here. Here's where it's going to get tricky. So we've got this USB header, which looks like it'll fit right here. Okay, USB. We've got these 4 fan headers, And we've got 2 right there and 2 over there. So some of them we're going to have to extend a little bit. This is going to be the front panel. I guarantee it. So we've actually only got 3. So they'll fit right here. So we got 1, 2, and this third one, it does have some slack on it. So you can just untangle it and it'll go right here. Okay, so that's good. I'm gonna show you something. This right here, let me zoom in. You see this right here? This is going to be the front panel connector. And it may work and it may not. We may have to pin it out. If you watched my T7i video, you know that we did have to pin out the this connector. So we might have to do that. What we got here? Who knows what that is? Some of these, I don't even know. We might have to trace those out. I've never seen anything like that before. I hate this computer. Well, I shouldn't say I hate this computer. I hate this proprietary nonsense that we got going on here. All right, let me look at this old motherboard here. All right, so one of those is audio. One of the ones that we took off is the side LED. And then the front panel, okay. So it's got a normal front panel connector on it. One side LED, wherever that goes to, don't care. One's gonna be something for another LED, don't care about that one. And one's for audio. So these two over here, if you can see these, there's one that looks like this. There's another one like this. These are all going to be proprietary. And another one is for the logo, your front logo. So you're going to lose a couple LEDs in this. Sorry, that's just how it is. Unfortunately. One controls the logo, one controls, I mean, RGB's RGB, boys and girls. I don't care about RGB, so we'll lose it in order to gain. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to gain performance. That's all we care about. Man, there is not any slack whatsoever in this front panel connector. I mean, none. I don't know if I can get that to connect. Oh, sorry. Ah, screw it. Who needs front panel audio? Nobody. It sucks. All right, moving on. Lenovo. All right, front panel USB 3. I do care about. And that really sucks. You're gonna need a front panel USB 3. Extension. You will need a front panel USB 3 extension. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Sorry. It's a one-man show. It's hard sometimes. Front panel USB 3, look at that. Just ain't gonna quite cut it. Oh well. Okay. Now, some of this stuff's going to work. You got RGB up here, right? Here's your fan connector. You got that thing. You got some more RGB. You got 2 RGB up here. Okay. And then, so you got 1, 2 RGB. You got USB-C, USB right there. You got where that crap is. SATA. You got that stuff. Front panel. Okay. Whatever. Plug in the front panel here. Back here. Alright. So, moral of the story. We're going to lose some RGB. Sorry. But, do not be afraid because we can gain RGB. Yes, we can. We can gain RGB. I mean, we got all this RGB right here. This one's not even long enough to reach something. So, that's okay because we're going to replace these front fans here in a little bit in another video. And so we're going to have RGB. We're just going to lose some RGB. And you can always buy an LED, an RGB strip, plug it into your commander. So it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a loss, really. But, oh well. What we're trying to do is we're just trying to eke out some performance. That's what we want. We want performance. How do we get it? Well, you give up something. Name of today, we're giving up RGB. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install our M.2 drive. It's not going to work. Use our iFixit one. Comes off just like that. It'll go right there. Now, this does come with screws, which is good. Comes in a little baggie. This motherboard, that is. Let's see. Yeah. But, who needs them? We don't. I ain't scared. This bracket is more than capable of holding our SSD in. More than capable. Maybe. Maybe it's not. Perfect. There we go. Listen, that M.2 drive, it's not going anywhere. All right, next on our list, we're going to install the water cooler. So to do that, we need to, of course, get our water cooling supplies out. And you'll need your bracket and your screws. And that's about it. You'll need your bracket, the screws. So you need the ones that say 1150X or 1200. Those are the ones you need. I showed you what they looked like earlier. All we gotta do is find out where I put them. All right, so once you locate your screws, you got a back plate. Okay? This is the back plate. It's nothing special. To install this, just flip your computer over to where you're looking at it like this. See? And look, this has some adhesive on the back. Now the good thing about this adhesive is it's just not going to, you know, keep it from ever coming off. The only thing it's going to do is it's just going to hold it in there until you can stick it on. So what it does, you'll have to push these in to where they match. All it's going to do is it's just going to hold on there lightly so that you can flip it back over and it's not going to fall off, and you can install your standoffs. Ta-da! Standoffs made easy, brought to you by Corsair. Show you what I mean. See, it's holding it on there. It gives it just enough hold that you don't have to try and do it and hold it. And I mean, it can be a real pain to install one of these back plates. But this has just a tiny bit of adhesive. It sticks to the metal. It comes off easily, and it's only just a little bit, just a square section of it, just enough to hold it on so that you can install your standoffs. And that's it. Okay, so there's our standoffs. Next thing we need to do, get our cooler out. So this thing, it has, of course, RGB on it, out the wazoo. It's got fans, and it's got liquid. Okay, and it's got all the screws you could need. It's even got pre-applied thermal paste, but hey, we don't care about none of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop off this top panel right here. And to do that, you can actually just do it with your thumb like I did. Or you can use your iFixit toolkit, which is smarter. And just use one of these here. You just go along it, hopefully. Yeah, there you go. Like that. So you just go along it and pop these out. You can also push them from the inside if you want. Like that. It lifts off. I'm going to have our fans pushing through, so that means that we need to take our radiator and attach it to the top of our case. So we'll do that first. Okay. So we'll just take it, just be gentle with it, and it'll go right here. And it'll line up, and we'll just start putting some screws in it. You can also put your fans on first, which we're going to do, because that's the smart way to do it. What I'm teaching y'all how to do, not the smart way to do it. So we will put our fans on first. So we're going to put it in with the Corso logo like that. So that means that we want our cables coming out this way, like so. Ta-da, just like that. Now this does work better on a flat surface, but homie ain't got time for that. And so what you'll need from your bag of screws are the long ones. They look like this. Take one, push it in. Make sure not to puncture your cooler. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be that guy or girl. Just try to line it up as best as you can. Not be like me and be a buffoon about it. Here, there we go. Sometimes these middle ones are the easiest to get instead of the outer edges. Okay. I have to do mine in a diagonal pattern. Once you get them started, you can use one of your screwdrivers. And just tighten them up. It's a pretty nice looking water cooler, I'll tell you that much. Okay, next thing we're gonna do the same thing, different fan. Just set it up like this. See how I got all the cables coming out one side together. Just makes it a lot easier to cable manage, which if you've ever seen my channel, you know that we don't cable manage. We're here to play games and stuff. You can get away with doing just 2 on each fan. I know some people do. All right, once we got those on, now it is time to see where everything goes. So sometimes stuff will connect to this pump. In this case though, it seems like that's a big negative. What the crap does that connect to? And sometimes, just sometimes, you gotta look at the directions. It's not something I advise, but you know. Blah, 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 backplate, blah, blah, blah. So this is supposed to include, haha, this thing. Look at this beast. Plugs in the USB, and this is going to control all the stuff. You can plug fans in here, RGB. Look at this. This thing's hardcore. Even, I mean, just psh, psh, psh. So this is going to go on the back. So what we're going to do is we need to run all of our cables to the back, so that we can install the commander core, is what they call it, and attach it to SATA and to USB. And then that will control this entire unit, which is also going to allow us to control our SP120 fans when we put those in the front. And so yes, we're losing the janky Lenovo RGB, but we are gaining so much more. What is this? 2 RGB hub. Thanks. Okay. Appreciate that. 2 RGB hub. Gotcha. It's got stickers on it. Tells you where everything goes. Okay. So now that we've got these cables just a tad bit loosened to where they'll go to the back, we can continue. I was wondering why this cooler was so expensive. That makes sense now because it includes a bunch of RGB and that really cool RGB hub. Now this is going to be the tricky part. It's trying to feed all these cables down into this. And so what I'm going to do, this is what I recommend. You're going to be like, wow, that's genius. Be like, I know. Is using some masking tape to create like a little bundle. And you're going to be like, wow, masking tape. Yep, masking tape. And the reason I'm using masking tape is because A, it's not sticky. That's sticky. It doesn't leave behind residue, so I'm just putting some masking tape on here, creating like this little bundle, right? And I'm just going to feed it through the top of this here case, assuming that there is enough room, which there is. Okay, so once that's fed through, which is good, we can install the cooler. And so to do so, what we're going to do is we're going to take it like so, and hopefully keep this pump from smacking anything. We're going to set it right there. We're going to go back to our baggie. We're going to get a couple screws. Look like this. So we're going to use these screws to screw it to the top of the case. Like so. So as you can see, what we're trying to do here is really keep that block, the block over there, from falling. Which it might. Hurt me belly over there. Okay. Now, I see. Our 8-pin is giving us some trouble. But that's okay. We've got room here at the front, towards the front of the case, to where this will fit. So it'll fit just like that. So we can't scoot it back as far as I'd like to because the 8-pin's in our way. But I mean, hey, you gotta have power. So just kind of use a screw to get set up. And these have washers as well, which I recommend using. I didn't on the fans, but I will on the case. Use these washers. So once you've got it lined up, I didn't tighten it in all the way because I want to, you know, not put a screw through the radiator. But I put a washer, one of these screws, so we can just take it, line it up, and wish that we had an electric screwdriver. Okay. So that one's not in all the way. I wait until the very end to tighten anything up. I really do. Whoever said I didn't lied. Don't trust them. I'm going to do the 4 corners first. Or try to. Yeah, there we go. Just going to do the 4 corners first. And what that's going to do is it's just going to allow it to be stable so that we can put in the rest of the screws. Okay, so now that you get once you get the 4 screws in, the 4 corners, I would recommend tilting the case up and working that way. Okay, it's time to put on the CPU block. So what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to use another one of our wipes, and we're going to get rid of the stock thermal paste. I'm sure it's good stuff. I'm sure it does fine, but I don't really like it. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to get rid of the stock thermal paste. See, clean as can be, thanks to our handy dandy wipe. And then we'll set it over here. We're going to let it dry a minute because it does need to dry. We don't want it to eat through our thermal paste. And then we're going to put thermal paste on the CPU. I'm using Noctua NTH1. Put about that much on it, like a little drop of rice or something. This is what I use, NTH1. I use NTH2 as well, but I don't have any in stock right now. So this is what we're going to use. We're just going to take this. We're going to fan it. You know, you don't want to touch it. You don't want to get your hand grease on there. You know, you just want to fan it. All it is alcohol. Alcohol evaporates really quickly. Okay? So now, once we fan that off, we're going to take this block. We're going to put it on like that. That's how we're doing it today. And then we're going to get these here. These are what's going to hold it to the CPU. I start in one corner, and then we're going to put them on loosely and diagonal. So we're going to go from this corner over here to where this finger is to where I'm at now. Okay, and then we're going to go to this corner, and then we're going to go to this final corner, like this. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to start back over here, and we're going to start tightening them in a circle. So here, here, here. Try and keep them all about the same tightness, you know. Here, back over here. And you just kind of do this in a diagonal circle, if that's a thing, a diagonal circle. Okay, don't over tighten them. Listen, you don't need to get your screwdriver out and start going buck wild. Finger tight is tight enough. Okay, now that that's done, we're going to take our cables here. One is for the power, or to go to the PWM for the block control, and one is for the RGB. And so what we're going to do is you got to take it and just feed it through. So it might be a little bit difficult with the cooler in now. Actually, it's not. There's still plenty of room. So just stick it in there. Sorry, you can't see it. It's back here. It's right under one of the fans. All right, once you get it through, once you get those cables through, we're going to start pulling them all. First, though, we're going to connect our fan cable, which is right here in this top corner. Let me rotate this thing. See if I can get y'all a better picture. There we go, yeah. Right here. This is where your fan's going to go. Your pump control, I should say. Okay, and then what you need to do is flip it up and pull all of your RGB cables tight. So, should be able to see it here. We've got all these cables. We want to get those tight because, you know, we don't want to have like a mess. You know, we want to at least look a little bit good, you know, after going through all this work. Pull this cable through here, get it tight. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Here on the back, show you all what I'm talking about. So now we've got all this, and we've got RGB and fan. So luckily we've only got 2 fans, which can go to any of the fan cables, and there's 2 up here in the top, so we'll just go there to our fan connections. So we'll split these out. We'll put fan over on one side, RGB on the other. We'll get our Commander Pro, this doohickey, okay, and we'll start plugging in the cables. So we can take this and it just goes in like that. And we'll take these. I don't guess it really matters which one it goes into. This thing can handle a lot of RGB. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 devices plus the cooler. That's insane. What? Okay, so now we'll take our fan headers and we're just going to push them through. Let's push them through right here because there is a couple fan headers on the motherboard right there. And now we're stuck with this thing. Now this is going to be tricky on where to put this because it's got USB and there's a USB available on the bottom of the motherboard. So what we'll do is we'll unwind them. We'll find, there should be a grommet hole somewhere, potentially. It's all the way up in here. Wow, okay guys. It's like way down there. Okay, so we'll do it like that. And then that'll probably sit right there. And then we need a SATA connection, which we have available to us right here on this bunched up group of wires. So let's plug that in. bunch it back in the unused caddy. Just kind of run your cables to where it fits in right here, like that. And that should be able to shut pretty easily, actually. So I'm gonna flip this, I'm gonna turn it around. Okay. So now that it's flipped over, here is our two fan cables. And look, there's a header right here and right here. So these are perfect. These will work great. If you want to get real hardcore, you can get a fan controller. But I mean, that's only if you're hardcore though. Okay. Apparently I'm dumb and don't know how to connect a 4-pin cable. Righto! Oh, that goes to the pump. That's why that one won't fit. Okay. So that one here, this is what we need. This cable here that we used for our CPU, this right here, this actually needs to go over here. That is our pump control. And it'll go right there. So we can use that fan. And if you had a fan splitter, which may be what you need right here, you could hopefully keep this crap out of. I'm actually going to run this cable too, because it's getting in my way. Okay. So what I did there is I rerouted this cable because it was actually getting stuck in our top fan there. So now that's plugged into the pump. We've got one fan plugged in, and now we gotta get the second fan plugged in. If you had a fan splitter, you could tie them right there, which might be the route to go, but YOLO. Okay, got that plugged in. Now we need to get our USB. It's right here. We just look for an open one, which is right here. Line it up like so. Ba-boom. Got that bad boy plugged in. Now we're going to do the RAM. And I really wish I would have got some RGB RAM at this point. I really do. But I didn't. Now on MSI motherboards, typically it's position 2 and 4 that you have to fill in first. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 2 and 4. It may not be 2 and 4. It'll let us know. Or you can read your manual. Whichever one you want to do. It's up to you. Alright, so we got the RAM. We got the cooler. We got a new RGB fans. RGB cooler. What's left? The GPU. Alright. Here we go. Moment of truth to see if everything lines up here. And guess what? It does. Yeah, buddy. That's what we like to see. We like to see stuff lining up. So go ahead, get your screws and your screwdriver out, and start screwing in your graphics card. That worked out pretty swell. I will say that our expansion slot brackets all lined up from the old motherboard. So everything lined up, which means that we can use that, and we can use this bracket down here. So that's pretty neat. Glad it worked out. All right, now it's just time to plug in this power. Does it fit? Boom! Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. We've got water cooling, 10700K, a real Z490 from MSI, a 3060. I mean, we got VRMs. Listen, this is 16 gigs of DDR4, 3200 megahertz CL16 that we can actually use XMP on. Hot diggity dog. Next thing we need to do is make sure that, you know, none of this stuff's hanging out anywhere it shouldn't. And I don't have any zip ties, so I'm just going to use one of these bread ties. It's probably not the smartest thing in the world, but oh well. Never been accused of being smart. That's what I always tell my wife. Never been accused of being smart. All right, let's put the back panel on. And the front panel. And let's see if maybe we can get some color. Is it going to work? Is the back panel going to fit? Oh, look at there. I mean, fits like a glove. Perfect. All right, let's put the top panel back on. This is like the Lenovo sleeper PC. I like it. It sucks that you had to dump so much money into it, but hey, looks pretty good, I think. Look at that. It's a real life gaming computer. All right, let's put the glass on. The right way, not the wrong way. Like that. Look through our mess for the, so we'll go ahead, we'll plug this in. Then we'll have the moment of truth. We'll see if it turns on. I hope it does. Suck to go through all this and not turn on. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to flip it up, readjust the camera, and see if we can turn it on. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Yeah! Woo! Turns on. That's awesome. Look at that. Yeah. And it gets real fast because it doesn't know what to do. Yes. Turns on. And it's... Hey there, everyone. Listen, you know, because of the pandemic, it's been a long time since I've really got to build a computer. I think that's been that way for a lot of people. You know, we're stuck buying pre-builts like this and stuff. So it's been really fun to make this video, even though there were a ton of struggles. You know, with everything not working out, trying to put the cooler on the stock motherboard, with that backplate off the stock motherboard not coming off, with XMP not working. However, it was really nice to try this. And I know not everyone is in a position to where they can go out, buy the water cooler, have it not work, buy a new motherboard, and have to deal with all of that. However, I do think that it created an entertaining video, which I hope you all like. Leave your comments below and let me know what you think about the video. Tell your buddies, you know, I think we had a lot of fun with this video. It's really cool that it turned on, that it worked. You know, we'll do some testing of it and stuff in another video. We're also going to install RGB fans in the front of it, and that's going to be pretty cool. One thing to note, if you all do this, go in once you start it up and move your files to either an internal hard drive that you put in or an external hard drive, and then reset the PC. And what I mean by that is use Windows Reset tool and reset it to stock after you get all of your precious data off. You're going to have a lot better experience doing it that way because you'll be able to install drivers specific to the MSI motherboard and not have anything left over from Lenovo. So go ahead and do that. Like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. You get to see the struggles and the solutions. It's been a lot of fun making this video, and I hope y'all stick around for some more videos that we do here on the channel. And leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think, of course. And go ahead and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. When you do subscribe, it lets me know how I'm doing pretty much. And as always, keep it real.